on this planet what looks to me like people being excited or drawn to things which are addictive or self-destructive, like being excited by drugs or...
All right. But do remember that if you truly examine that energy, you will find that it is not the expression of the energy as excitement, it is the expression of the energy as anxiety. Because excitement and anxiety, as we have said, are the same energy. And it may be a very fine line for many individuals as to what they are actually expressing. But anyone that finds the idea of needing the tool because they believe that it is the tool that has the power rather than themselves will actually be expressing the energy in terms of anxiety. They may call it excitement, but it is not the true expression of positive excitement and knowingness. It is anxiety, and it is, in that sense, a discounting of many portions and an invalidation of many portions of themselves. They think it is excitement to overlook the fact of the things they fear to face about themselves because they think that it will be an ordeal to face those things, and they do not want to face that. So they will pretend that the anxiety they feel is truly excitement when it isn't. You follow me?
I do follow you, exactly. So that this is a point on which I and other people have, I've expressed confusion to myself, other people have. So to understand it clearly, the way to
understand the difference is to simply observe what type of energy is being utilized in the creation of that scenario. If the individuals, again, are placing the power outside of themselves, then it is an act in a negative direction. If they understand that the power is within them in that way and that they are a part of infinite creation, then you will not see them in such great expression of need.
So it's the way for an individual to discern for himself or herself whether the excitement they feel is genuine excitement or anxiety is to examine whether they are moving toward whatever it is that seems to be producing the excitement, the area, with a sense that the power lies within them,
yes,
or whether they're reaching out thinking that that's going to solve everything for them.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
And finally,
yes,
I'm presently, for my own evolution, concentrating on developing my emotional body in the sense that there's a physical body, an emotional body, a mental body, and a spiritual
developing
body.
it.
Well,
yes.
Okay. It's my experience of myself that through various practices I was able to, if you will, develop greatly the spiritual and the mental at the expense or forgetting or putting aside, okay, the emotional body.
Yes.
Now, either you're going to say, but that's impossible and it's merely the way you were looking at it, but what I'm interested in asking you is for your help, is for, well, whatever you're going to give me back, as far as I think that I'm engaged in the process of expanding my emotional and physical body to the...
You think you are or you feel you are?
Well, I'll feel that I am engaged in that endeavor, and I was going to ask for whatever thoughts you might have.
All right, we have just given you one clue.
To assist in that, yes. I got that clue.
All right.
Is there anything else?
One other suggestion we can perhaps suggest is to perhaps cease to think of yourself as separated bodies, and to simply assume that they are all simply different expressions of one idea, so that there will not be so much segregation between them, so that a change in any one will be a change in all, and that you can simply relax into the assumption that all of them are developing, quote-unquote, accordingly. And that will fill you with a nice feeling. And then you will know that your emotional body is wide awake when you feel the feeling that you are doing just fine.
I understand that, but I'm also aware that there is an expression that people use, people involved in the process of developing growth in themselves and others.
Yes.
The expression that a person is not grounded, or things like that. That's what I'm...
You are afraid of that occurring to you?
No, I'm not afraid at all. I'm interested...
Why did you bring it up?
I'm interested in increasing the degree to which I am grounded in this throughout various planes of existence, I guess would be a better way of putting it.
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Thank you. What is your definition of the development of the so-called emotional body?
Well, that's what I didn't have a clear imaginative conception of, which is what I was actually going to ask you to help me arrive at, because I thought if I had a clear conception, imaginative conception, it would speed the process.
Perhaps what is getting in your way is the fact that you think there needs to be a definition at all. And you're spending time looking for something which doesn't necessarily have to exist in your reality.
No, I haven't been spending a lot of time worrying about the imaginative. This was just an idea.
I did not say you were worrying about it.
Well, I wasn't even spending any time trying to find it. I've been spending most of my time doing things that seem to me would be effective at, if you will, developing my emotional body as opposed to other bodies, recognizing that each one is simply a manifestation of the same single
All
thing.
right. But you must, somewhere within your imagination, have a picture or a definition of a scenario wherein you would recognize a time, a place, an action on your part that would represent the development of the emotional body. What does that picture look like? How will you know when it is developed?
Being completely able to give and receive and tolerate.
Tolerate?
Well,
For one moment. That is quite different. Quite different. If you are looking for toleration...
No, wrong choice of the word.
All right.
It's not what I meant. It's what I said, but it's not what I meant.
All right.
What I was thinking of was giving, receiving, and also being in the presence of, on a cross flow, all different kinds of emotions with great exuberance and high volume.
So you can imagine this, yes?
You've just helped me do it. Thank you.
Then know, as we have discussed, that if you can imagine it, all you have to do is act like the picture you imagine, and you will create the effect in your life that is reflective of the type of life that that type of being has. That is all you need to do. Act like the picture you have created of what it would be like to be that type of being, and you will be that type of being. Follow your picture. Create your self-image. Does that assist you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes, it does. I was wondering how, one more thing, how to increase the interconnectedness to one, how can one increase one's interconnectedness to the all that is?
You can't. You are as connected as you will ever be. You can increase your awareness of your interconnectedness by doing what we just suggested. Creating an image that you desire and prefer, and then acting like that image is true for you, like that is a real way that you can be. And then you will see that you are interconnected by the results you get by acting like the image you have created. By believing in it, by believing it is real. By believing that because you have the ability to imagine it, that that's who you are. And acting like that. You follow me?
I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chatting.
Please keep your questions to 1 or 2 people.
Compared to be enlightened on a question that I asked not only for myself, but for some of my friends who are here tonight.
All right.
And this question has never been verbalized before, so I ask your forgiveness if my words...
My what? My goodness. There is nothing to forgive. The way it comes out will be the perfect way it needs to come out. Do share. Your sharing is a gift just as it is.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I come from another time and space to be in this time and space to fulfill a quest and a mission. I'm doing rather well.
Yes, as are all of you.
I hope.
You what?
Hope.
No need to hope. Hope implies despair. Hope implies you are not sure. You either know or you don't. You are doing just fine.
I don't know all, or else I would not ask you to enlighten me on this one little
No
thing.
one will know all, but everyone will know all they need to know at any given moment to be completely who they need to be. You know all you need to be who you are being at any given moment.
Oh, I agree, but
All right.
let me see if I can put this right. The mission, the quest that we are on and that I specifically am on, is coming to a close. And we have utilized the completion of the mission in a mass production way. I'm a writer and a producer, and my group and I have written and produced something rather valuable and famous, which we hope will have a wondrous effect.
More hope. You know it will make an impact.
I do know
Thank
it is
you.
making an impact. We have a little slight problem.
Oh, if you say so.
Yes, I do say so.
All right.
There is yet another group, and I don't know how this group exists, whether it's a group collective altered state, whether it's a group of people who sit in a house thinking about it, but they do create situations which are
Detrimental.
Detrimental is they can kill. They have killed. They have taken parts of our group. They have tried to dismantle us and our project. It doesn't work in the long run because the mission, the quest, is more important than the individual for its outcome on the planet. However, two questions. One, who are these beings or people? Where are they, and what can we do to dismantle them? Two, my mate is in another place or plane and is trying desperately to join me. Where is he? And what can I do? What can
My. Now,
the best I could do now. Okay?
thank you. It is perfect. Allow me first to lay down a foundation. What will assist you the best, and in no way, shape, or form do I mean this derogatorily or judgmentally. All right? What will first assist you the best is to, from your definitions and your perspectives of this overall scenario, remove the melodrama. Remove it. It doesn't belong. There is no need for you to carry over from the art craft of melodrama in which you are involved the idea of melodrama in your physical life. Now, we will not apply a label to that group, because in that way, to define them more solidly places them more solidly in your reality. And this we will not do. The idea is not to dismantle them. The idea is, in a sense, and again, we do not mean this term in a attack mode understanding. The idea is to, in a sense, overwhelm them with the unconditional love, trust, and absolute certainty that the reality you believe in most strongly is untouchable by anything that is not of a similar vibration. The only reason that these two ideas and these two groups have been able to interact is because of your inherently taught and ingrained beliefs that you can have an opponent that can oppose you. If you simply are of the vibratory awareness and level of the idea of your service and your love and your light and unconditional trust in your beingness, no being that is not of that vibration will be able to find you, let alone touch you. You follow me?
May I comment back?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I agree with what you're saying on a whole. And I'd also like to state that I am that very confident person.
All right.
I am invincible, and
Yes.
I shall succeed.
Yes.
But I have a responsibility to others around me.
To them, not for them.
To them.
Yes.
And I cannot help to understand your definition of melodrama. When a member of our group is shot in the head dead
Yes.
in front of us, we tend to react emotionally to this.
One moment. That tendency is not natural, it is learned. And also, what we are saying is that the attraction of that event, in other words, that event is the effect of incorporating melodrama. We are not saying that melodrama is the result of that action. We are saying that that action is the result of the belief in the melodrama, in the belief of the good versus evil. That is melodrama, because good and evil are completely subjective value judgments.
I didn't think I quite said that I was the one who was good. I'm just saying that there was
We
an opposing
understand.
force.
But we are talking about these other individuals as well. We are not simply speaking of you. Since you mentioned the idea of the energy of the group, we are discussing the energy of the individuals in the group.
Yes.
And many of the belief systems they have bought into in your reality have ingrained within them a habitual ritual of thinking of this idea in terms of a struggle between light and dark. And so that's what they attract.
Then what is it if it is not that?
It is not a struggle if you understand that the vibration you are is simply going to be the reality you experience. Then the idea of anyone who is not of that vibration, as we have said, will never be able to find you or touch you to be able to create a struggle. You will simply be beyond their reach.
Fine. Accepting that, could you please identify this weaker form for me, this group that I am overpowering with my great confidence?
We will not label them, no, because that will focus you greater into the idea of a battle. The idea is to love all unconditionally, because you are created out of unconditional love. When you do that, you will then overwhelm them in that way as a reflection of the fact that you are, as a whole, untouchable, indestructible.
And if that does not work?
For you to say, and if that does not work, is for you to deny that you truly believe that that is the reality you say you believe in. You do not play what if. If you play what if, then you are not willing to believe in what you say you believe in. This is 100% trust that we are talking about here. We are not talking about what if. What if implies less than 100% trust in what you say you believe you are.
So how am I doing?
Now you are doing just fine as always. But you will always be doing fine. You will always be doing perfectly. It depends on what definition of what reality you wish to perfectly manifest. It is always up to you. But the idea in any reality, on any level, of experiencing the reality you know to be true for you and not experiencing the effect of any other reality that may not be in synchronistic accord with you, is to simply know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are being of service, that you are being of love, that you are an expression of light. And if you simply know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is what you are all about, as well as all the other individuals in your group, and are not buying into the belief systems that many of you have been brought up in this society to believe in, that the idea of good and evil, right and wrong must be a battle royal, then you will not experience nor draw into your life the need to see those manifested scenarios, because it will simply not be a part of the idea. You won't need that type of expression of melodrama in your life. If you become caught up in that belief system, that is when you are buying into the negative group's belief system, and that is what makes you susceptible in interaction, is what draws you together. If you simply know that they have nothing to do with your reality and you have nothing to do with their reality in terms of what you are capable of accomplishing, then you will not have to interact in that way. You will not have to interact in ways that reflect your belief that this is going to have to be some sort of a struggle. It simply won't happen. So for you to say, well, what if it does, means that you are buying into that reality and reinforcing the probability that that will be the reality you experience. And it doesn't matter what you have experienced with them. Whatever you define yourself to be now in the present will be what you experience now in the present. And for every present you create, regardless of any other experience you have ever had. Perhaps the experience of interacting with them is to realize simply that there are many negative beliefs that are held by individuals even in what you call your positive group. And for them to recognize that it is only those negative beliefs that attract any other negative individual. That is it.
I see that we both have very clear positive realities.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they are not the same. Thank you.
All right. But that again is not unfortunate. For every being is what they are by their choice. And they create the realities they experience utterly as the product of what they have been taught to believe is true. There is no one truth, except that the truth is composed of all truths. Individuals can express themselves in positive ways, in negative ways. Positive simply being integrative, negative being segregative. But an individual who simply knows that they are integrative in that way will, by the light by which they shine, simply show an individual who is negative that they are A, untouchable, and that B, they are giving back to the negative individual an offering of a choice to understand that they can also be positive, or if they do not choose to be positive, they can simply go their way. For that which is negative cannot exist within the blinding light of that which is positive. That is all there is to it. It is simple mechanics.
Thank you, Bashar.
Shooting.
Bashar, I have a mystery that I know you'll be able to help me with.
Oh, you know that. Don't be too sure.
Well, I think you might be able to help me with. It relates to your earlier talking about negating all experience, and it also relates to a question I had asked you on Sunday about poltergeist activities. To keep a long series of events short, it was seeing lights in the sky in an unusual formation, dreams about extraterrestrials that were, for me, nightmares.
All right.
Pains in the head.
Yes.
And a year of not being very well, always constantly unwell. And the question is about that energy. Was it something that I had negated and I should have opened up to?
Again, there are no shoulds, but we would recommend that if you simply were willing to understand that there really was nothing to fear, then you would not have experienced the fear that you did.
I was very fearful at the time.
But the idea many times of the reason that those fears occur in your society when you are interacting with beings from other societies in that way, no matter on what level you are interacting with them, the reason that many of those fears occur is because, let us say, and again, in no way, shape, or form is this meant to be a comparative judgment that you are any less than any other being. But the way you create yourself to be, the way you have been taught to think of yourselves, creates within you the ability to hide and suppress many portions of your consciousness from yourselves. And in doing so, you function on a lower vibratory frequency very often. When you come into contact with a being that operates on a very high vibratory frequency because it is willing to know itself as completely as it can, then those two frequencies, when they come together, will usually create the effect of the higher frequency, in a sense, overwhelming the lower frequency, and forcing the lower frequency to rise in pitch. In forcing the lower frequency to raise in pitch, that will bring to the surface all of the things that you have been keeping buried within you. And bringing those things to the surface when you are not ready to face them can be a very fearful experience for many of you. That is where the fear comes from. That is why also we maintain, along with all the other extraterrestrial civilizations in general, our distance from you until you are willing to function as an integrated society and truly believe 100% in your own positive manifestable reality. For as long as you are able to bury things within you and beliefs within you, then you will generate the idea of fear that will attract these negative scenarios into your life, and it is only that fear of yourself that you are feeling. It is not really an intrinsic fear of the extraterrestrial. It is the fear of all the things you have been taught to fear in your life coming to the surface, forcing you to face these things. You follow me?
Yeah. Was that an experience that I needed, a particular experience I needed for myself to face all those? I understand exactly what you're saying. Or was it, what did they want?
It is an experience you agreed to because you wish to expand in many ways and you were willing to allow them to be of assistance to you. You know they are doing you no harm. They know they are doing you no harm. They know that it may for now seem like an ordeal of sorts to you, but they also know that your higher consciousness knows it will survive intact.
Are they still around?
Oh, yes.
Can I contact them in some way now I'm learning?
To some degree. We would suggest that you avail yourself of much of the literature that is now existent within the interactions of other individuals that have had similar experiences to you.
Where do I find those?
One in particular that we have referred to is a literary work you now call Communion.
I have not heard of it.
You will.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You will see many similarities, many connections, and many of your questions will be answered by that work.
I presume that the weakness in my physical body is also connected with the
Yes.
fears that are
Yes.
releasing themselves.
Yes.
I will get better.
The tensions, only the tensions, are draining you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being so willing and recognize that what you are going through is an indication of how strong you actually know you are. Yes. So focus on the strength, not upon what you think is a sign of weakness. And you will be strong. Thank you very much. Sharing. And to you.
I find myself impatient
All
and
right.
anxious.
Anxious,
with myself.
impatient. You are not enjoying life then.
No, I am.
Contradiction. If you are enjoying the life you are living, if you are enjoying every moment, whether you are going to prefer to change that into something else or not, if you are enjoying life for what it is, then you are too busy having fun to think that you are waiting for something better to come along. Therefore, you don't need patience, and therefore you will not feel impatient. The only reason you feel impatience in your lives is because you think you need to be patient, but you don't. Being patient is the assumption that you are waiting for something better to come along, and nothing better will come along. That, again, is a value judgment. Differences will occur. Things can be more expanded. You can always learn. You will always change and transform. But what you are, again, once again, at every given moment, is a perfect manifestation of the idea you are being. And when you live your life now in a childlike fashion, fascinated, curious, and enjoyful of all the things that come into your life because you know that the things that are in your life are there for you, for your reasons, for you to learn from, you will be enjoying yourself so much that before you know it, all the things that you were waiting for will already be upon you. Because when you live in the moment, you do not create the experience of the passage of time to as great a degree as you do when you are sitting around waiting for things to happen. And that is what will create the acceleration that you desire. You follow me?
Yes.
Does that assist you?
Yes.
Do you believe that your life as it is worth enjoying?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Then if you live in that childlike way, you will not notice the passage of time so much because you will not be creating as much time. And because you will not be creating as much time, you will become more timeless, ageless. You will not need to age. The more you enjoy, the less you age. You follow me?
Yes.